Please speak up a little. I'll do my best. I cover quite a large section of track from Longfield to Ramsgate, and from Ramsgate round to Folkestone, Ramsgate to Wye, Strood to Beltring. So I've got quite down to Sheerness. I've got quite a large section of track, and I'm going to show you a few bits and pieces. For track maintenance, obviously we work to Network Rail standards. They are national standards. We work to them, obviously every engineer across the country works to the same set of standards. The standards clearly specify minimum frequencies for inspection, processes for carrying out those inspections, and mandated minimum actions that you should take if you find track geometry faults. So here I've got an example. This is not the Whitstable section of track. It is it shows a good section of track with good track geometry. This is split up into eighths of a mile. I've blown the key up here, and you can see the green being good. So this shows good sections of track. Each of these squares are eighths of a mile, as I've said.
Very unclear, all of it.
Sorry.
You can't see it.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just get to it. I'm just showing you an example of a good section of track.
Doesn't make any sense.
We're not really interested in that because we can't make headings out of it anyway.
If you could just let Jordan finish, please, because I think as he goes through the next few slides, you'll see. Hopefully, he'll get across. Yeah.
So we have track recording vehicles that record on 3 monthly intervals, which it shows on the left hand.
Face this way when you talk, because we can't hear when you talk to the screen.
Yeah, but it won't make much sense if I'm not pointing to the stuff and I understand it's quite.
If you can just let the chat finish, then we'll have more time for questions, really. It is to our advantage.
As I say, the track geometry is measured over a number of parameters, and as you can see there, the track is in fairly good condition. Large peaks would indicate you've got poor track geometry and you've got issues with your track. So that's really to show a good piece of track, good being green. Usually within maintenance we maintain our track within the good to the very poor parameters, ramping up our maintenance activities as the track condition gets worse, as you would expect. The next slide, please. This is the Whitstable track geometry around the location we're talking about. As you can see, as I said before, what we term a super red site is our sites within our maximum standard deviation track quality band. So as you can see from the dates here, in the back end of the summer 2009, 2010 and 2011, the track has deteriorated such that it's gone into our maximum standard deviation band for track quality. So it's real poor track quality.
Can I just ask one question?
Could you wait to the end of the question?
Does that square relate to a specific section or the whole thing between the station and
yeah, this is
Oxford Street?
58 mile 40 to 58 mile 60 is this area in the red square is the section of track we're talking around, including Oxford Road Bridge and the area where we're talking about removing.
That's a quarter of a mile from Oxford Road Bridge towards the station.
Right, thank you.
Each section, each square is an eighth of the mile, and this quarter of a mile being the section we're talking about. As I say again, this is the trace. As you can see, this is our section that we're talking about. And as you can see, you've got on numerous occasions the peaks are breaking the threshold of where we'd expect our track geometry to be. Network rail standards. Engineers must use other asset information and arrange more detailed examinations where needed to identify root causes, and that's really where Simon's come in. We've had issues maintaining the track to a satisfactory level. Obviously, the worse the track gets, the more of a risk it becomes, and you risk having a serious incident. The standards require that we take appropriate action to improve track geometry quality by tackling the underlying causes. Again, it's not just a case of returning the track to where it is, because we've seen through the last 3 years the geometry has continued to fail through the dry seasons at the back end of the summer, and it's becoming more and more erratic, and it's becoming more and more difficult to manage. These are some photos taken in 2011, and this is the section of track we're talking about, this Oxford Road Bridge here, and you can clearly see the geometry faults there and there that are causing us the issues. I'll go on to some sites where we've done similar issues. This is on the Ashford to Maidstone line. 2009, you can see the traces, and again we've got large peaks that are edging near to our maximum thresholds. We undertook tree removal at this location in 2010, 2011 when it was a similar sort of soil moisture deficit and again very dry. You can see that the track quality on this section of track has vastly improved. So we've overlaid the 2 years there, prior to tree removal, after tree removal, and obviously you can see the benefits. If you flip the slide again. Again, Ashford to Maidstone line at Charing Station, same thing again, 2009, you've got clearly excessive peaks there and poor track geometry. Got photos there showing a rather large slack, and the track maintenance guys out there doing their repair work. Again, tree removal 2010, 2011, track geometry has vastly improved, and you know, we're talking about safety here and improve the safety risk there. Again, as Simon said, tree removal is an effective means to manage our clay banks. The track geometry can be specifically put down to individual trees, and this is a section on the Ashford to Hastings line, and we've identified that there are individual trees at these locations causing these large spikes and causing the poor track geometry. I've just got a slide here evaluating what I've said really. This is a repeat maximum SD super red site with extremely poor track geometry that is having massive swings between satisfactory geometry and extremely poor track geometry. It's an increased safety risk. Due to the poor stability of this particular section of track, we obviously have to increase our inspections. That's not mitigation against the work that we need to do, but nevertheless our inspection frequencies are enhanced. We had a large number, this section of track, we had 16 weeks of speeds on the down road, I believe, last year, and 11 weeks of speeds on the up road, which obviously was to do with the condition of the track, so we reduced the line speed because of the extreme poor condition. And also it should be, it's important to note that during the summer we're limited to the amount of work we can do. Obviously you've probably heard of track buckles, so we can't do excessive lift and lining work during the summer months because of the risk of a track buckle. So we either catch it before the hot weather season, or we have to impose speed restrictions or come up with alternative measures, because obviously we don't want to resolve one risk only to import another. I'm finished. Sorry. We're already undertaking maintenance approximately 3 times more frequent than we are at other similar locations. So we are putting lots of effort into maintaining this site, and really we do need to do something to make sure it's in a sensible condition going forward. As I said before, I manage the East Kent section of track, and we had a considerable number of condition of track speeds last year. As residents, you probably suffered the consequences of that. And nationally, we were one of the largest areas for condition of track speeds. And alongside our maintenance activities, obviously we're wearing out our asset, and we're reducing the life expectancy, and at the same time, as things become, the components become more deteriorated, the track quality again deteriorates itself. So passing you over to Martin.